Hello and welcome back to Wikis of Workwood for yet another list review. Bit of a different one this time. All the last competitive tournaments we've had, we've got something a bit lighter, still competitive, but a lot more fun. A great Nicky Forsyth has set up a one-day doubles event called Go Back Sam. I'm going to Bangor alone. I know you are, and I'm playing with you. It's a GBHL 80 and IHL event, all with teams. It's one-day MESBG Doubles event, 700 points of combined armies. All alliances are green, no mixing good and evil. Random army bonus will be drawn for each game for each army. There's a limit of 24 teams. And Nicky, how many did we actually get? If you want to say hello as well.
Hey guys, so we got 11 teams in the end, and then with the Buybuster team, that's us up to 12 teams. So 24 players, a pretty good turnout for our little small island.
It is a really good turnout considering. I think my event, like I know it's just because we've only got it's double, so obviously there's less armies, but I think my event was about 24, and that was at the time was like amazing. So like to have another one at that high is pretty good.
And quite a lot of new players too, which is good to see, and always the returning Scots.
Yeah, it's always good to see the Scots over. Is it just Connor and Hamish? Is that the only ones who are able to make it this time?
Yeah, I think two of the other guys wanted to come, but they couldn't make it in the end. So just the two of them this time.
Fair, fair. Always look forward to them. So we're going to get a wee look at the lists. We're going to go through them all, and Nicky has also asked everyone to write a lore piece for their army. Basically, it's just something that will explain how this strange alliance has came to be. So we've got some really, really interesting matchups and armies and some really interesting names, some interesting stories. Bit of a heads up, mine's rubbish. I've been very busy and I jumped on the chat AI bot and it made quite a funny little thing for me, but we'll see it when we get there. So we're going to jump right in. We've got team
I
one.
should probably, Connor, just go through the wee bit about the lore. So
please do.
The Spirit Award, which so one of the main prizes for this is going to be the Spirit of Middle Earth Award, and I'm going to decide who wins that based on the team that most get in the spirit of the event. And the whole event is about creating stories that might have been battles forgotten by history across Middle Earth. So I think the example I give in the event pack was a time when a group of hobbits traveled south of Gondor, and they were looking for new tobacco trading routes, and they ended up getting in trouble with some pirates, and then they were saved by some rangers, and they all ended up dying. So history forgot about this battle, and it was all about, like, that's the theme. So unlikely alliances that might have happened and been forgot about. And so to reward that, I've asked everyone if they can write a little bit of lore about why their two armies are together. And then that'll be given a score. I'm going to score them myself. But then the next two parts of the Spirit Award are going to come from favorite army or favorite list, which will be voted for by the players. And then there's going to be points up for every time you get a favorite opponent a vote. So it's really encouraging you to be creative and to have a positive play experience there for any other players that are going to be at the event.
Which is a really nice change in general from like the super competitive stuff that we've had a lot of recently. So yeah, I think we're gonna have like it's set to be a really fun day. I guess the one day tournaments are nice, you know, you get that little bit, but with something this fun, I would actually love to see something hit the 2 day mark with like this sort of cool theme. Rather than just
7 stones in Bangor.
Yeah, like something exact like or Throne of Skulls, is it sort of do something similar? Like it's all themey list as well, isn't it? It's like 2 days.
It's the one where you best favorite opponent gets you like you have to get the favorite opponent votes to win as well, I think.
See, that's I like that. It's just anything that pushes that positive play experience is just so much better. And the more I play it, the more it's about sort of reminding yourself that it's a game and it's about having fun. And these are the perfect events for that. So straight into the spirit of it, as I'm sure you can see, team one is called Batman versus Spider-Man. It's David Feeney and Peter Fenton, two top lads. Two guys that write really nice lists as well. David's reasonably new. Peter's been kicking about for a while now. And we have their little lore piece. Nicky, would you like to read the lore pieces or would you like me to do it?
Oh, sure, we'll take a time about because there's quite a few. I feel like we should have got the guys who there's some people wrote a paragraph, some people wrote a line, and some people wrote like half a page
Half a
story.
yeah.
I feel like we should have punished those guys and got them on to read it out themselves. But sure, I'll read this one, and you can read the next one, Connor, and we'll see where we get from there.
Cool.
So, background to this army. So, as news of Arnor's imminent demise reaches the Misty Mountains, an ambitious young goblin warlord and his band sets north in search of loot in the sacked cities of the north. On the journey, he will see horrors and demons that he thought only existed in the depths of Moria. So this is a Angmar and Moria alliance. So obviously, this goblin captain, being Groblog, has set north into the ruins of Arnor, where he's come across the big man himself, Gullivar, the Terror of Arnor. So,
Very
uh,
Dickies.
yeah, I think there's a couple of Gullivars appearing in these lists. Big points at
300
350.
points in a way. Well, I
Yeah.
can't say anything. Like, I usually bring ends to these things and was actually going to, but Gareth couldn't make it. Like, me and Gareth had an idea to do like ends and hobbits, which would be hilarious. But I get it.
Yeah,
I
quite
get it.
quite surprised you didn't bring the Ents, but they've been
There
out
was
quite a lot
we
recently.
could, yeah, I couldn't really find anything that to run off them as well. We just couldn't get that matchup. So we went evil. We'll see how it works out. But yeah, we have player one, David Feeney. His warband is Gullivar, 200 points into him in the leader. Then he does have a decent sized warband too, with Barry White leading it. We've got one orc with a banner and a shield, six orcs with shields, two picks, four with swords, three orc warriors with shield and spear, and two orc warriors with spear. Peter's side of the force is 350 points in Moria, as Nicky said. It's got Grublog, six goblins with shield, six with spear, Ashrak, three giant spiders, five goblins with shield and four goblins with spear, and he actually has a third warband with a black shield shaman, two prowlers, one goblin with a shield, and one goblin with a spear. It's 700 points. It's 45 models, 23 kills to break it, 11 for 25%. It's decent. It's got decent numbers.
Yeah, so Peter's side really making up the numbers that I think's lost with Gulliver there, and between the two lists, there's lots of magic stuff to play with people. I've played against Peter's Black Shield Shaman where he shattered Legolas's bow, so
Yep.
it's always funny when you see a shatter go off.
Yeah, it happened to me at the WTC as well. The guy Siraj from Scotland did that. And, like, we just laughed so much because we didn't realize it was like even a thing. Um,
I really like the inclusion of Ashrak here and the spiders. I feel like you don't see that enough outside of the
well,
AOL Legion, so it's nice to see that here.
I'll have my own opinions on that one. I'm not a big fan of
Oh
the
yeah,
spiders, so yeah, I'm not a fan. But sure, it's
auto win if
hard.
you play you.
Yeah, pretty much. So team one, yeah, really good. 40 over 40 models at 700 points is impressive stuff. We've got team two, yeah, Nick McElhatton and Christopher Cornhill, another bunch of gents. This is called He Prefers the Bigger Nicks.
So it's
Um,
Nick and Judas here, really.
yeah,
Chris, being my doubles winning partner from a previous event, has replaced me with another Nick. So,
it's
which
just not
one's the
on, is
bigger
it?
Nick
It's
is
just,
out for debate, apparently.
I have to say I'm impressed with Nick's lore that he's written here. It's very nice.
Do
Um,
you want to read that out,
I'll read
Connor?
this one. Yeah. So this is Nick and Chris's army, and the little bit of lore for this one is after being run out of the Tar Orthanc, Saruman of many colours travelled westward toward the land of the Shire. Upon reaching the village of Bree with what remained of his forces, he heard tale of a dark terror that lay north of the Fornost. A dark power that lay forgotten by Sauron and the Lord of the Nazgul, who once called that part of Middle Earth his home. In a last bid to secure himself for a force worthy of retaking Orthanc, Saruman, along with his remaining forces, travelled north to harness this power, and harness it he did. We have force number one, Saruman, mounted 190 points. He's the leader. Big Grima kicking in there as well. An Uruk-hai with shield. Sorry, five Uruk-hais with shield, five with pikes, and a banner. Then that's Chris's force. Nyx comes in with another Gullivar. One Angmar Orc banner, two Angmar Orcs, five Angmar Orcs with shields, and five with spears. And then just a Barry White for good measure. A little bit lower in the numbers this time. It's 27. So what that's going to be 14 to break. And then about 7 to quarter, is it? Is my maths right?
Yeah. So I feel like they've went very elite here with the magic from Saruman and then the real hammer from Gullivar. So
Definitely.
I think there's no leader going to be safe from these two.
No.
Um,
Transfix and
so
then Gullivar each you pretty much is what's going to happen there. The
Yeah.
cream is going to be stealing your might. You've
Oh,
got,
just being annoying the whole time.
yeah, you've D6 Urukai, you've got pike lines. They're going to be a bit of just a bubble. What I find with doubles is good. Sometimes someone can just go full elite. I just think it's funny if you have someone with like the last list as well. You have like a couple of models, and then the other team member just brings like just as much as they can, and then you've got your numbers and your elites. Kind of like what me and Connor did with Goblin Town and Ents. Not Ents.
Yeah.
That wasn't Ents that time. It was Goblin Town and something else, but it worked.
I feel
It's a,
like the quite situational with like the scenarios and stuff here. So anything that's like where an army was shooting can sit back. This army's maybe gonna not
yeah,
have such a good time against
yeah.
anything where they're up in each other's faces. It's probably gonna hold out pretty well. But the double scenarios themselves, they're kind of weird, aren't they, with
They're
the
very
deployment?
weird. I mean, they're set up for pure banter. Like, I mean, they're hard to call competitive.
Yeah.
Just because
And,
of the way that they work.
and most of the time you're deploying separately, so maybe that like synergy between Saruman and Gulliver will be hard to
Yeah,
get off. But I think
Gulliver's
my
shootable
favorite
now as well, isn't he? So he's gonna have a hard time hiding behind 10 orcs, which is he's gonna have to jump behind buildings.
I think my favorite double scenario is that one where your army's in the middle and then your other army deploys
Comes
around
in.
it, and you have to try and rescue them from the
Yeah,
middle
I
of
like
the.
that. I also like the one where you have to like pick a target, and then your opponent and your partner picks a target, and it just has to
Oh,
be. You're not allowed to tell each other who your target is. There's
it's
ways
like the
around it.
doubles fog of war, isn't it? Sort
Yeah,
of, or is
yeah,
it?
or
Yeah,
assassination.
assassination.
But
Yeah,
there's ways around it because you can just be like, there's certain, obviously, there's like assassins, so you have to like select a character for them to get like bonus wounds against and stuff. So, like, with certain models can do that. So, if you happen to have one of those models, like, obviously, the one you're choosing is going to be that in it. So, there are ways to give away. But
we'll make sure that the first scenario rolled when we do the matchups tonight isn't going to be that one, so that people can't pre-plan their
for sure,
targets.
that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. It's number three, Garage McGinley and Ian Collins. I believe that Gator has been shelved for the time being. So we're going to see something different from these two absolute legends. The team name is Bilbo Bringer Backer Boys. Or is Bilbo's second adventure. Nicky, if you'd like to take it away.
Okay, so a little bit told a little differently this time. So, what we know, so it's 3019 in the Third Age. On the 3rd of March, Theoden makes Merry a squire of Rohan. On the 7th of March, they leave for the Battle of the Pelennor. What we didn't know until these missing pages of the Red Book were discovered. So at this time, so at this time, both Bilbo remains in Rivendell, and despite his many years now catching up with him, he still enjoys a playful side and an adventure, despite his senility. As such, Elrond appointed Glorfindel to protect this ring bearer and not to let Bilbo out of his sight. And so we have our tale. Bilbo's second adventure, wandering off in the wilds looking for trolls and reliving life well spent, only to be found halfway to Rohan by Glorfindel and company. And on March 5th, having an unexpected meeting with a king and another hobbit in the furthest corner of Middle Earth. Perhaps there is a little venture left in this world after all. So, squeezing a little story into the 3 days that we don't know what happens between Theoden uh, leaving to march to the Pelennor.
I really like it. I had a feeling that Ewan was going to bang something out of the park with this. It's right up his alley. Same with like all his 40k armies and everything. He's just so good at giving like that flavor to it. So
Is
I'm
it
like,
old Bilbo they have too?
yes, as far as
Oh,
I'm
that's
aware.
good.
So yeah, I think it'll be great. Garage has been painting his elves up, and they look great. So we shall see it on the table. Two big banter players. So this is going to be a fun matchup for everyone. The list is Garrod, his single warband, Glorfindel, Armor of Gondolin, Bilbo Baggins with the One Ring and Mithril Coat, depending on about who he comes up against, of course, that could be nabbed right off him. High Elf Warrior, Banner, Shield, and Spear. High Elf with Shield and Spear, three of those, and another three with just shields. Then we have three with spears and bows. Uh,
Very elite.
very elite, yeah. Ewan bringing in some Royal Guard with Theoden Horse and Shield. He's a leader. Merry Knight of the Mark, Elven Cloak and Shield, Rohan Outriders, four of those. Then we've got two Rohan Royal Guards with spears. We've got a Rohan Royal Guard with spear and a banner and a horse. And then we have Rohan Royal Guards with spears and horses. There's five of those and two Sons of Ural. It's gonna hit like a fucking tank.
I haven't, so I still need to like double check everyone's points. This has been so last minute. But are the Rohan Outriders and the Sons of Errol here mounted or not? And the Royal Guard? Because it
So
says,
as far as I'm aware with Rohan Outriders, are they not always mounted?
I
I,
know you can take them on foot
can you? See, I
because
don't play with that.
I faced one the other week. So the only difference is they head on a 3-up, as far as I
Okay.
know.
I guess the points
Um,
will tell. I feel like because he's added in horse to some of these ones, that it's kind of so maybe
yeah, so I
not if
think
it
these
doesn't
Rohan
say
Outriders are
horse.
on foot.
So maybe I guess the points will tell though when it works out. But I would be surprised. Yeah, maybe you don't see outriders a lot, so like I'm not sure to be completely
Yeah,
honest.
and I guess when it's a list where you lose your army bonus anyway, having all that
Yeah,
mounted for the Rohan bonus isn't going to matter so much.
yeah,
So
at all really. It's like um, as I keep forgetting that we're gonna have random army bonuses, so this is like it's gonna be so up in the air. Like this, if this gets the right army bonus, it would just be unreal.
it's great to see two rarely played models as well with Mary there on his own and then Bilbo Baggins. I think
Yeah,
that's great.
big time.
Oh, especially with old Bilbo. Does he have the
Hmm.
ring? Oh no, he won't have the ring at this stage because
He
he'll have given
he
it to.
does have the ring if nobody else plays somebody else that has the ring higher than him. So
So
he
it's
will.
a rules technicality rather than a lore
Yeah,
reason.
yeah,
But
it's
oh
more
well.
yeah. So like, unless he comes up against like someone else who like another ring bearer, chances are he'll have the ring. So, and I don't know if there any other ring bearers. I guess we'll find out. But someone might have a Frodo there somewhere, or
I don't think there are any other ring bearers as far as I'm aware.
yeah, then he'll be
Oh,
dandering
there
about
is
invisible.
in the list that we're just looking at.
Oh, of
Isildur.
course. Well,
Uh,
he would take precedence then if he comes up against Isildur. I'm pretty sure Isildur takes it. So team four is Tim Kennedy and Chris Shields. Do they have a team name?
no, they didn't submit a team name, so it's just Tim Kennedy and Chris Shields.
Cool. So this is what looks like some Numenor with Dunharrow, so an interesting alliance. So the lore for this one, Isildur, after getting the ring and refusing to mount Doomit, I like that, called on some freshly dead Dunharrow to help. As the ring had started to corrupt him, he had no intention of letting them free from their curse, and so to war they went. Player one, Tim Kennedy, brings in Isildur, the ring, obviously. He has a horse and he's the leader. He's got four warriors with spears and shields, four warriors with shields, and one warrior with banner and shield. Warband 2 is captain of Numenor with four warriors with bow and spear. Um, so lots of strength for Numenor, not lots, but he's got a bit of strength for there. It's always good to have in a good list. And then obviously we've got these guys hitting your courage. So Chris is bringing in his Dead of Dunharrow. He's just bought a bunch of bears, so this could change in the next tournament. The King of the Dead, 10 Warriors of the Dead, one banner and shield, four with sword and shield, and five with spear and shield. Warband 2, Big Harold of the Dead, uh, just on his own, from what I can see. It's 27 models. It's a shitload of high defense, though. That could be good. I actually like
Yeah,
the
I
theme
think
of this one because it's because of the whole. I always like that whole like they betrayed
you
him and that sort of thing. So
were they dead already when? So when did they break their oath? So it must be after they broke their oath. So he's cursed them, and
yeah, because
then
they broke their
Isildur
oath.
has went to another battle, and he calls on them early to
Yeah, because
fulfill their oath.
yeah, I suppose that's pretty much what's happened there.
So it means
Um,
he's screwed Aragon and
he's just being a
the
massive cunt.
Fellowship
Yeah,
because the dead aren't going to be there.
I mean, yeah, it's a good point. Um, he's I just think Isildur's a bastard. I don't know why. I love Elendil, but like it's just that scene where he's just like, no, it's mine. It's just like
Yeah.
you're such a cunt.
I've never
Uh,
went up against a Isildur. I think he takes the award for the worst horse, and like his horse is so derpy in that model. It is terrible.
they need like proper models. Because does Isildur have a mounted version? Is that the one where you just cut his head off and pop Elendil's on, or is that?
No, is it not the one with the really derpy horse?
Might, but I just know that like some of them don't have models. Silver, like Ellendale doesn't. Like people chop someone's head off and pop it on. But like it's probably a Silver. That's probably who they're doing it with.
Yeah, it is. It's the one where the horse looks like it looks like a cartoon.
Yeah,
It looks like some from Animal Farm. It's so bad.
Animal Farm. It's a socialist horse. Um,
Yeah.
so Team Five, myself and Calvin Phillips scouting for wargs. So this is the chat AI. Pretty much wrote this. I typed in I basically wanted to write a story about Eric's being really lonely and finding a bunch of dogs that made them happy, and this is what happened. So once in Middle Earth, a pack of Urukai roamed the world, feared by all, but terribly lonely. One day they came across a pack of wargs toying with the remnants of an elven corpse. The wargs were fierce but playful. Lurch could see that the wargs were in need of a leader. The Urukai, under order of Saruman, were due to set on the trail of some little folk. Lurch thought the keen noses of the wargs could be of great use. The Urukai, led by their captain, decided to take the wargs under their wing, hunted with them, and talked shit about Elrond. The wargs began to trust the Urukai. The Urukai knew that their friendship with the wargs was not accepted, but the Urukai had found a new purpose in their lives. They were no longer just warriors, but also protectors of those that they had come to call friends. The Urukai and the wargs knew that their bond was unbreakable. They had overcome their differences and found a purpose that had brought them closer together than they ever could have imagined. A joint hatred and disdain for the stupid pointy-eared fox of the forest. I think it's quite beautiful.
I think
Um,
your narration there really did it justice. So that was
had
great.
to, didn't it? So this is myself and Calvin. Um, as I said, I wanted to bring Ents. Didn't happen. I've never used voice outside of us doing the Jokey Am and Hen scenario when me and Calvin played it. So we've just went for like what's the most easy possible thing we could write that would just be like really fast, not very good, but just banter. And this is what we come up with. So I get Lurch with a shield, and he's just gonna sit there with 6 Urukai scouts with bows. Then Speedy Mahara, as my Mexican Uruk, will have 12 Urukai scouts with shields, all with Marauder and one with a banner. So the way I'll obviously be able to differentiate this is any scout that has a bow cannot move 8 inches. Only the ones that are with Maher. Then we have Calvin with his wargs. There's just 3 copycat warbands, Wild Warg Leader Chieftain, 5 Wild Wargs, 3 times over. We actually have 38 models. I didn't realize that until I just seen that. That's pretty good. We also have, how much might does Lurch have? 3? And then 2
Yeah.
on Maher. So we have 14 might. That's pretty good.
I feel like with the double scenarios too, you normally deploy in a part, so you're going to really have the advantage here with the speed of the wargs, where you
Yeah,
can probably close in, take
get
out
together.
one half of their army before the other half can
Yeah.
get there. So I know it seems like a fun list, but Wild Warg Chieftains, anytime I've faced them, have
Wild
wrecked
Warg
me.
Chieftains are lethal, but wargs die so easily. So I think it'll even out. Um,
I think they're very glass cannon, the warg leaders
yeah.
themselves, but they can really put a hurt on when they roll.
I mean, if we come up against the Dunharrow list, we could have a hard time because there's a lot of
Courage
bad.
too.
Yeah. They're like, and then the Urukai maybe, but like, there's only 12 of them. That's fast. I only brought the banner to like pretty much stick it behind something in games where banner might be worth points, but everything counts as a yellow alliance, right?
No, everything counts as a green
A
alliance.
green alliance, that's it. So
Yeah.
basically just asking if the wards can use my banner, which they can.
S-
So
So your brothership with the wargs is green alliance. You're so close.
that is it. That's pretty much
Um,
it. The love is strong. There was a bit in the story which said that they like lay under the stars, which I really wanted to keep in, but it was too much.
I
I met,
guess
yeah.
what I haven't thought about actually is you're going to be so for everyone that doesn't know the way the army bonuses work is there's going to be like a bag with uh all the random army bonuses in it, and you're going to draw 3 of them. And then your opponent has a chance to pick one of yours and roll a dice, and on a 4 up, you have to discard it and then pick from the other 2. So if you know you're facing the army of the dead and courage is going to be an issue, there will be an army bonus there where all of your army gets +1 courage. So
Mm,
situationally, like a bonus that seems quite bad normally might actually be really beneficial depending on who you're facing.
yeah, they'll be smart to get rid of that one if it's there. I
Yeah,
have to give Calvin some credit as well. Specific, the name's great, I think. Scouting for wargs. It's just
I like that one.
absolutely brilliant. Little play on a band name there. Team six, Luke Wilkinson and Bradley Moore might actually take the title for. There's a lot of banter teams here, but these guys are just next level. Roharnabaton. So do you want to read this one?
Yeah, so really went all out with the background here. We're the Holy Knights of Rowan Obbiton. We came to spank orcs and drink mead, and we're all out of mead.
That's absolutely fucking brilliant. That's so good. This
Very, very um, what do you call it? Monty Python there.
Yeah, it is. It's just I just can't pronounce Roharnabaton. Um,
Ro Rohan
Roharnabaton. I
Roharbridon.
don't. Maybe the hour is not meant to be there. Maybe it's Roharnabaton. I don't know. But this, and we're all out of mead. Love it. Spank orcs, and we're all out of mead. Bradley is bringing in his leader in Theoden, King of Rohan. He has an armor, heavy armor, Hurgan, obviously the kick-ass sword, and a horse and a shield. He comes in with 3 royal guards, 2 with spears, and 3 Rohan of Rohan. I assume that's riders of Rohan with spears. 2 with spears. Warband number 2 is Durnhelm, throwing spears, armor, horse, shield, sword, standard stuff. Big Mary on the back, Knight of the Mark, 80 points. All the normal stuff you would have with Durnhelm. Riders of Rohan, there's 5 of them, all with spears, and 13 warriors. It's going to be decent numbers in this, I think. Player number 2, Luke. He has Arvidui, last king of Arnor, and 15 warriors of Arnor in his first warband. Second warband, a captain of Arnor with 8 hobbit archers. Love it. Warband 3, captain of Arnor, just on his own. It is 39 models, so again, quite high on the model count. I actually think that's going to be really good.
Yeah, you've got your hammer and your anvil here. So you've got your strong defense line with your warriors of Arnor, and then you've got. I'm assuming those Royal Guard are mounted with the 95 points. I assume they all are. So you've got
Yeah.
you know something to hold the line, and then something that can move fast and hit the flanks. Especially with, as we said, the missions where one half is maybe deployed and the other half's coming to rescue.
Yeah.
If you're able to move that Rohan force across the board quickly, it's going to be something to reckon with.
It is, and there's a certain level of theme I love here that if they got that one, like Arnor, it's such a thing that Arnor would be the ones defending and Rohan would be running to like help, It has that sort of they very much fit those roles.
Yeah,
I
big
like that.
contenders for favorite opponent with these two because I haven't played Bradley myself, but I know
He's just
Luke
hilarious.
Luke's just there for the banter.
Looks, yeah, I mean, both gentlemen, both hilarious. Like, that's just got fun written all over it. And they will fully just take the mick as well. Like, they'll just have a laugh. Um, so yeah, big fan of that one. Um, number 7. No team name, Connor. Disappointed. Connor Carr and Big Hamish, loving both. Big Scots, great guys. Can't wait to see them again. And their lore. Shall I read this one?
Um, the big long one that I read the last time. I feel like your voice is a bit more entertaining than mine, Connor. So you
We'll just
take it
take
away
it.
here.
The town of Bree is home to many queer folk, dementia-addled barkeepers, spies of Saruman, alleged half-orcs, and even some hobbits. The surrounding lands of Eriador are themselves home to many threats, such as foul orcs in Fornost, wargs prowling the lands, goblins from the north, evil spirits of long-dead Arnorians, trolls, ruffians, and more. When one such threat comes knocking on Bree's gates, a certain conjurer of cheap tricks and one of the rangers arise to rally the people. This is
But
class.
I think before we go through, we should probably mention that this doesn't stick completely to the rules of what I put in the event pack, but everything was passed by me first, and I agreed that there's nothing here that was trying to get player advantage, and it was all just completely for thematic reasons. So that's why I've allowed the substitutions I think would have been yellow on one side or
Okay.
maybe even red.
What was it
And
that they didn't like? What is it actually doesn't stick to the pack?
so the whole theme is, as Connor said, it's the secret faction you unlock. It's the army
Hmm.
of Bree, which is it's all set around that theme in um the Prancing Pony, where there's the squint-eyed Southerner, the book, and he was allegedly a half orc, I think.
Hmm.
So they didn't really know what to use for a half orc character, so they've got Gollum substituted in here.
Cool.
I think it was whatever version of Gollum it was. It didn't fit with the Green Alliance with Strider and then the Barliman and Bill.
Farragut, yeah.
Um, so I allowed it because I don't really. It's not a good model and it's not given any advantage. So the substitution. So Warband 1 is Strider and he's got all of the upgrades. Andril was technically with him when he was in
Hmm.
3, wasn't it? So
He
it's
had
not.
it, but it wasn't. Was it?
It was just it
Wasn't
was just a
fixed.
hilt, wasn't it?
Yeah,
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 that
yeah.
was it. So it was still Narzel at that stage, but sure. We have old Bilbo with the ring in another list. So, but we have horse, bow, armor, elven cloak, and Andril. Then we have the squint-eyed southerner, which is Gollum. We have Barlaman Butterbur. I have no idea what that guy does because I've never
Nardy
seen him on
I. I'm
table.
so excited to see him.
If anyone's going to bring him to a game, it's going to be Connor Kerr.
Yeah.
It's a TO's nightmare. Um, Bill the pony. Bill does he? What does Bill do?
He's
He
just
gives
ponies basically. I don't know like what else is he like. He's a banner for hobbits, and
that's
he
it.
needs
He's
to take courage test to charge because he's a
is
pony.
it a, is it all the fellowship he's a banner for, or
Maybe it is the
just
fellowship. You
hobbits?
might be
I think
right.
it's maybe
You
the
might be
fellowship.
right. You might be right.
And then Harry Goatleaf, he's the gatekeeper with the lamp. So I've heard tales from Connor about Harry Goatleaf transfixing or paralyzing a mimic for a whole game in a
Right.
different tournament because I think he has like a 5-up where he shines the light in your face and then you're startled and you're
So
transfixed.
it's basically a transfix.
So it's a very goofy model, but like it can be really annoying if it goes off.
Yeah, for sure. That's interesting. So like, oh, it probably wouldn't work against Ents because it's still a special rule, isn't it? I was gonna say, is that one? There's that one way you could like transfix an Ent by using Harry Goldleaf.
I'm not sure. I need to see the actual rules, is
Yeah.
because surely an ant can be startled by light, but
No,
maybe
but
the
it's any special rule or magical power that would affect their movement. Doesn't
air.
work, so
I
probably
feel
not.
like ants would be even more terrible if you could
I mean, even
transfix them.
even then, like, yeah. To be fair though, I played a game the other night, obviously with my other half for a laugh, and made a list with L's and three and a couple of Ents. I mean, people transfixing your Ents takes a lot of targets off your other people as well, and if you have more than one Ent, like, there's still an issue, you know. So like, I'm gonna try it out. I'm gonna write a list I think soon, and I'm gonna maybe mix a bit of holes with an Ent or something just to see
Oh,
what happens.
is it only there if they're a
Their army
purifying Gorn
bonus,
list?
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
yeah, so they're not
So
great
they'd
then
be
on their own, yeah.
transfixable, but like if you throw them in with another army, and like imagine like having to make the choice of transfixing Thranduil or Treebeard, like like either way, it's still not great. And Treebeard is 6 will,
How many points is a base ant?
120. Treebeard's
So it's
190-ish.
kind of an expensive troll. I suppose like trolls have no
Oh,
defense against
massively.
transfix
It's an
either.
expensive troll with just better stats, pretty much. They're just a bit better than trolls.
Sorry,
Um,
so we'll get on to
yep.
Hamish's list here. So the other part of the whole Bree list is we have Gandalf the Grey leading up 4 Bree militia with bows and spears, 3 militia with shields and spears, and Bree militia with a shield, and then we have Bob
Bob
and
and
Nob.
Knob.
So if you roll down, I'm pretty sure Bob and Nob are just
Squint-eyed Southerners Gollum, Bree Militia are the Lake Town Militia, as are Bob and Knob. Bill
so
Fernie is a Lake Town captain.
I don't know where Bob and Nob's coming from here. If it's a joke with those guys, or it's
Yeah,
related to something in the lore, but Bob and Nob are there, or maybe there's special models they have for them.
I do like it.
Uh, and then Bill
Bill
Fernie,
Fernie.
he's the guy that betrays the hobbits, isn't
He's
he?
the
Tries
dickhead one. Yeah,
the
yeah.
ring
I'm pretty
wraiths
sure.
buy him
Yep.
out.
Yep.
Um, and then there's 3 Bree militia with him, 4 militia with so they have bows and spears, then 4 with shields and spears, and then 1 with shield, and then 2 standard militia. So 22 models, pretty elite
27 in
list.
total.
Oh,
22
sorry,
is just
27 in total.
so yeah, it's still a very elite list with a lot of weird shit going on. Um, I would be so
Yeah,
confused. I wouldn't know what to do because like there's so much random stuff. I would just it's very Connor, isn't it?
I
So
feel like it's going to be down to Aragon to do the heavy lifting for this with
Oh, big time!
all
Like,
all the tricks from Gandalf. So a bit like the Gulliver Saruman
yeah,
combination. Those two are going to be playing off each other a lot.
he'll
And
probably try
then
and transfix people with his little guy, and then Bill will be rocking around as his banner, and then just rolling fours flat. Hopefully, well, that's what he'll want with his Aragorn's Woodens, like anything. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. And it's got big Gandalf as well, so you've actually two sources of like transfixing people there. Pretty good.
yeah, and I think possibly one of the forerunners for favorite army here, just with
Definitely.
how much they've themed this list.
I have to agree. I love it. So on to the next one.
But Connor's going to read this one out. I said we should have got these guys on as punishment to read this themselves because they've literally wrote us like a small novella of uh, background. So
Yeah, it's rather big.
your
Um,
voice is much less monotone than mine. So I'll let you read this and I will supply sound effects.
it's like it's literally like a small chapter. Brilliant. I like the effort. So this is Bill Taylor and Chris Baird. The dwarves of Erebor, led by Thror, the last king under the mountain, embarked on a treacherous journey through the misty mountains. Their quest to reclaim their lost homeland had brought them to these ancient peaks where legends spoke of great riches and untold dangers. Clear my throat. The dwarves, their spirits high, but their hearts heavy with the weight of exile, trudged through the narrow passes and rugged trails that wound their way upward. It was a quest that must succeed. There was no returning to Erebor, where Thror and his peoples had been cast out by the beast known as Smaug. The misty mountains lived up to their name, for a thick mist clung to the slopes and valleys, obscuring vision and casting an eerie pallor over the landscape. Snow and ice made the going treacherous, and the dwarves struggled to maintain their footing. Thror, with his long white beard and kingly bearing, led them onward, his eyes filled with determination. As they ascended deeper into the heart of the mountains, a sense of foreboding settled upon the company. There were whispers of unseen monsters in the mist, shadowy figures lurking in the rocky crevices. The mountains were a known haven of orcs and goblins, creatures who would delight in the destruction of the travellers from Erebor. It was on the third evening of their journey through the misty mountains that the doom they had feared descended upon them. A sudden and deafening roar echoed through the passes, and the dwarves looked up to see a horde of goblins pouring down the slopes like a black tide. Thror's heart sank as he saw the overwhelming force of goblins descending upon his people. The dwarves formed a defensive circle, their weapons drawn, ready to make the final stand against their foes. Thror, his golden armor glistening in the moonlight, reminiscent of when Varda set upon the men, raised his sword. His war cry boomed across the mountains like the thunder in a great storm, and prepared to face the goblins with a grim resolve. Just as the goblins closed in, a sudden gust of wind swept through the pass, dispersing the mist and sending the goblins tumbling backward. For a moment, the light of the moon disappeared, as if a thick cloud appeared in an instant. It was at that moment Thror heard a cry, almost like music. The eagles are coming! From the sky, a great eagle, with wings outstretched and plume of feathers gleaming in the pale light, descended upon the dwarves. It was Gwaihir, Lord of the Eagles, a friend to those who walk the path of good. Alongside him flanked more winged servants of Manwë, equal to Gwaihir in their magnificence. With a mighty cry, Gwaihir swooped down, talons extended, and plucked goblins from the ground, sending them scattering in terror. The dwarves watched in awe as the eagle circled above, his keen eyes and swift beak striking fear into the hearts of their foes. Thror and his people seized the opportunity and fought with renewed vigor. They drove back the remaining goblins, pushing them up the slopes from whence they had come. The battle raged on, but the dwarves' courage was kindled by the arrival of their unexpected savior. So it's Team Iron Eagle 2, Battle Beyond the Crag. Fucking excellent.
Beautifully read, I have to say. I hope you enjoyed my sound effects.
I did enjoy your sound effects. That was quite the F. Did Chris write that or Bill?
Oh, this was all Chris. I think he told me he had to cut it down because he didn't have enough time to write all he wanted.
That is outstanding.
Yeah, that's going to be getting full marks.
Has to.
Set the bar.
There's a big one to come as well after. There's more. So player one, Bill Taylor with the Misty Mountains, Gwaihir, and two Great Eagles. 3 might, 3 models, 350 points. Love it. Player 2, Chris Baird, Army of Thror. First time he's got them out that I've seen. He maybe has played them before. I'm not too sure.
Oh, it's the first time he's had them all
Is it?
painted up, so
Thought
their
so.
first item, as far as I know. Yeah.
So he's got Thror with the Ring of Durin, 11 Grimhammers with Guardian of the King, 1 warrior with Banner, Shield, and Spear, and 6 warriors with Spear and Shield. It's 22 models. It's got 6 might, 19 models. Hits like a tank. It can be pretty good. Eagles can cause a real fuss, and there's a lot of like good defense guys there. There's a lot of high damage. It's again one that with the right army bonus could be great.
I think this causes a lot of problems for people in the double scenarios where the Eagles can just ignore one of the other armies and run
Yeah,
over and help the dwarves.
yeah,
Depends on who deploys where. If the rescue scenario, if it's well, even if the Eagles deploy first, they can just run out of there and meet up with the rest of the army. But if the dwarves are in the middle there, they can hold out while the Eagles come to the rescue. And I think that that mix of a real solid line and then just a real fast moving, like scary army with the Eagles is going to be so much fun to see on the table and so much fun to play against.
it is. And again, really, really, really fun players. So it's going to be
Yeah,
a fun game to come up against that one. Chris just likes playing high defense armies, and then Bill just likes to play whatever he feels like.
yeah.
So
Chris will play a high defense army and then complain that he can't kill anything.
yeah,
But at least he's got the strength 4 with the Grimhammers there,
yeah,
the Guardians of the King.
that could be good.
So
Like yeah, if Guahir could really muck stuff up, having 2 normal eagles as well. Like, it's just the trick is to try and isolate and charge them, but it's going to be hard. Like,
yeah, hopefully they don't come up against one of the magic lists in the first game, or that'll
good point. Yeah,
might
that's
be
one
too
that could
much
lock
fun.
them down. Yeah. What does Ring of Durin do again?
You can re-roll 1 priority dice turn.
Ah, yes, yes, it's okay, I
So
guess.
it's big if you're out of might and you need to
It's
get
not
the
quite
move.
Saruman though, just going like it's mine. Do you know what I mean? That sort of thing,
Yes,
or foresight points even or better. Um,
it's great. It's great in situations though where say you both roll a 1 on priority and you had it
yes,
last turn, so you can guarantee yourself it pretty much that you're going to get
unless you
the
roll another
priority.
one, it's exactly
Well,
what I would do. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one, nice and easy to move around the table as well. Uh, team number 9, Sean Sproul and Niall Woods. This is an interesting combination. Sean is very nice, very talented player. Niall is very nice, very not that he's not a talented player, but he just flat out doesn't give a shit. The last time I
y-
played Niall, he literally blew up half his own army with a bomb.
yes, he's
Um,
a great fun player to play against.
yeah,
He's there for, I think, he's the only player that I know that owns the Dragon Emperor, but plays Easterlings without the Dragon Emperor and
he
brings
refuses to
Assault.
play them now
He brought Assault on Helm's Deep,
with no
and
ballistas.
didn't bring ballistas until
Yeah,
the 950 points.
yeah,
But that's what it's all about.
it
Like
is.
it's not always about being gamey. It's all about having fun. We're
He
playing with
literally
little
like
toys at the end of the day.
I spoke to him about it, and he was like, "Oh no, they're too Easterlings are too like in now, so I'm not playing them anymore." Big hipster, but I appreciate it. Like, big respect to Niall. The theme for this one, do you want to read that?
Oh, it's a long one, this. So go north, find the Dunedain. There's one they call Strider. You should meet him, Legolas, and bring his ass back here for the Battle of the Five Armies. As quoted in the movie by Thranduil in the Battle of the Five Armies.
I definitely remember him
So
say, "Bring his ass back here." Yeah, did it.
yeah. So a little alternate history where instead of going to look for him in the years after The Hobbit, Legolas apparently disappears and within a couple of days manages to come back with Aragon just in time for the Battle of the Five Armies. I'm sure he would have made a huge difference too, because I always like Lindsay always laughs at me when they're losing the battle and then 13 extra dwarves charge out and suddenly those 13 extra dwarves completely change how the fight's going against like 10,000 orcs. So having one extra man there, it's really
A younger
yeah,
Aragorn as well.
would really have changed the tide of that battle.
A much like how. What's the years between the Battle of Five Armies and is it like
uh
50 years or something? So you're gonna have like a 30-year-old fucking fresh as fuck Aragorn, you know?
it gets two free might a turn.
Yeah. does whatever he wants. Sean's army is the Fellowship in Rivendell. We have Aragorn as Strider with the armor and the bow. We have Legolas with armor and an elf cloak, and Gildor in Glorian. Niall's army is Erebor reclaimed with Thorin, Dwalin, Bifur, and Ori. Fucking love it. 7 models. Unreal.
And
Unreal.
they're all the armored version as well. So
Yep.
I've never actually seen them on the table, which is great. Do they still have the same base weapons as they have with the
Some of them might be
so
slightly different, but I don't know.
does Ori still have the slingshot?
I don't know.
He's the slingshot one, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Because on a natural 6, he auto wounds, so he can like
wounds.
auto wound Sauron on a 6,
Yeah.
which is amazing.
I mean, I think it is. I think he does still get it in this because he's still such low points as well, you know.
What does Gildor do? I'm not familiar with Gildor off the
I
top of
haven't
my head.
got a clue. Who
Uh,
is Gildor? Why don't I know this? It rings a bell.
is he one of the weird wood elf heroes? Actually, I
fucking
don't
list
know.
review, and I don't even know who the guy is, but sure. Yeah, so that's I'll have to pick up on that one.
Well, we will find out
Yeah, we certainly will.
on Saturday.
So all 7 models of it, glorious, love it, guys. Well played. Team 10, Ben, Hannah, and Peter.
No bomber though, so minus points
No
because
bomber,
everyone
yes.
knows bomber's
But then
the best.
plus points because no Jimmy Nesbitt.
Oh yeah, because he ruined the Hobbit.
Yeah.
I tell you the really weird thing that happened where we watched the Hobbit one night and the next day we were walking through the park and Jimmy Nesbitt was walking through with his son. It's the weirdest moment ever.
I imagine it was. Yeah. I always want to kill him every time I see him in a game. It's nothing against Big Jim Nesbitt, like I just like to kill him in the game.
Immersion breaking in
You know,
the movies
that's
with that
pretty much
accent.
it. Yeah. So on to Ben and Peter. They have team name The Last Alliance of Dwarves and Men. Their lore goes as follows. At the close of the Second Age, when men and elves rose up against I'll start that again. At the close of the Second Age, when men and elves rose up against the evil that Sauron brought. It is said that very few dwarven folk joined that last great battle of Dagorlad on the plains of Gorgoroth when Isildur cut the ring from Sauron's hand. While it's true that the dwarves of Erebor and the Iron Hills were not present, the same cannot be said of the dwarves of Khazad-dûm. King Durin IV, son of Durin III, and the King of the Longbeards, was a long-standing ally of the free peoples of Middle-earth. He had fought many campaigns against the forces of the Dark Lord, and despite taking many losses, he, along with some of his mightiest warriors, made his way towards Barad-dûr to fight alongside Rivendell and Numenor in that last desperate stand against the evil that plagued the land. We have Ben bringing in Elendil, Big Daddy Elendil with a horse and a shield. 10 warriors of Numenor and 5 warriors of Numenor with bows and shields. Sorry, the 10 have spears and shields. The 5 have bows and shields. Peter brings Durin IV, Dwarven King profile and army leader. He has 6 dwarf warriors with shields and 2 with bows. Orban 2 is King's champion with 2 heralds, 4 dwarf warriors with shield, and 3 dwarf rangers with bow. It's 35 models, good numbers there. It's 17 to break it and 9 to quarter. I actually really like that.
I really like this too.
Yeah.
I think 2 very experienced players here as well, and a pretty scary list. I think these guys might be one of my favorites to do very well at this tournament.
I think they could do pretty well, yeah.
And I also love that they've went like pure theme as well. So hats off for playing into the theme. I think it's pretty cool that there was dwarves at the Battle of the Last Alliance. And they're paying homage to that little unknown part of history.
Was there actually dwarves at the Battle of the Last Alliance? Is that true? I didn't know that.
I think it is true. I think
they just weren't on screen, sort of thing.
Peter, I don't think it. I think Peter wouldn't have went with it if it wasn't.
Like
you're mentioned
right.
somewhere in the lore. I think he found something that said that there were a few dwarves that fought at the Battle of the Last Alliance. I may be wrong, but I think he told me that he heard it somewhere. Especially when he's called it during the terrible at Roman numerals. The fourth. I assume that he might have played a part, or that might be in reference to some text. Or
I like it. Like it's cool, and they've written the lore bit very nicely as well. Um, it's going to be tough. Good strength, good defense. Allendale.
The free
Top
might.
clearing, like, yeah, it's just it's great. He gets free horror combats and stuff, doesn't he? So
Oh, it's not
uh,
free might.
you
It's
get
the
a free
free
horror
hero
combat.
combat. That's
Yeah.
it. Yeah, he's not quite
So,
Aragon.
but he's good, especially on a horse. That's it. That'll be good to see that one on the table. It'll be a fun one. Luke Miller and Stevie McChrystal. I don't know Stevie McChrystal. I don't think I've
Yes.
never met Stevie.
No. So shout out to Stevie. Stevie was one of the guys. I think he's from Mid Ulster Gaming Club,
Okay,
and
brilliant.
unfortunately, Luke's partner dropped out last minute, and Stevie stepped in. He's taking part in the War of the Ring campaign. It's going on across Northern Ireland for the next 3 months, and I think he's quite new to the game as well, and he's thrown himself straight in for his first tournament. So
Good.
uh, thanks to Stevie for stepping in, and thanks for Luke for not dropping out when his opponent left. So um, very short lower here, but these guys had, I think, like I had to give a slight extension because Stevie joined so last minute. So uh, short lower, but hats off to the guys for sticking with it and not getting discouraged by people dropping out. But I think they each only have one evil army each, so
Yeah,
they kind of had to work with what they had here.
yeah.
So their lore is after the enormous defeat at the Battle of the Morannon, Mordor's army crumbled right in front of them. Angmar soon joined them and tried to support them to take back Mordor, getting revenge for their lost battle. So after the battle at the Black Gate, whatever orcs must have fled up into Angmar, and then they'd rallied, and this joint force of Morannons and Angmar orcs had come back down to try and take back their land. So Luke is whipping out his Angmar, and he's bringing his leader as Birder.
I didn't know he had a birder. That's cool.
I think he just got it for this event.
Mm,
So I think it'd be the first time on the table. So Birder, I think Luke really took on the advice we gave him for playing Evil Armies
mm-hmm.
last event and to go numbers. So I think this is one of the biggest lists that we have, other than the Buybuster list. So we
Cool.
have 7 Angmar orcs with shield, 7 Angmar orcs with spear, Angmar orc with banner and shield, and then we have a captain, 4 orc bows, 4 orcs with two-handed weapons, and nice little bit of mobility with 6 wild wargs.
I think there's
So
only
29,
two with 200 weapons there, not four, I think.
oh, 2 with two-handed weapons, yeah.
Yeah.
So 29 models in that one half. Really great numbers. I think
Yeah.
And then Stevie's taken quite a similar route with the Horde. He's taken the Witch King with the armored horse with 3 might, 3 fate, 4 will. It's 4
It'll be
will. Is
four
that 4
extra. It'll
extra
be
will?
four
Yeah.
extra will, yeah.
And then the crown. Then he has 3 Morannons with sword and board, 3 with spear, 1 with shield and sword. That's just an orc warrior, and then 1 orc warrior with spear. Warband 2, he has an orc shaman. I don't think I've ever saw that on the table.
No.
He has 1 Morannon orc sword and board, 1 with spear, 1 orc warrior with sword and board, and 2 with sword and board and 2 with spear. So a total of 51 models here. So this is going to be scary for anyone to face, especially those lower model count armies. I think could get bogged down and swamped.
Yeah, Birder has strike as well. Witch King has strike. He can transfix. He's got a lot of Morannons, obviously D6, but probably the best troops in the game for the price. Orc Warriors to fill out the numbers, speed with the wargs, two-handed weapon for banter, few bows just to know your heroes if possible. It's a
Uh,
nice list.
it's a team I'd really love to see do well too, just
Same.
because I know they're Luke's our youngest player and our newest
Yeah,
player in the group, and then Stevie's a new player as well coming down. So it'd be great if these guys did really well, and I think they've built the perfect list to do so. They've got the magic, they've got the scary hero.
yeah,
So if they synergize off each other, they could be climbing the
yeah.
ladder here.
Luke won 2 games in his very first tournament, like so.
It's
Hats off,
fantastic, yeah.
really, really good. So, and just on that as well, yeah, like so the War of the Ring campaign thing that Nicky mentioned. Try and get on it if you're in Northern Ireland and you listen to this. It's basically, as you said, it's like a big campaign thing running for the next few months. It's all in honor of like the anniversary of Lord of the Rings and everything Tolkien. You can get some really cool prizes and stuff by signing up. So just look at it and reach out to like, is it the Mid Ulster Gaming Club? That
Yeah, there's a War of the Ring Facebook page. It's quite a strange event in where there's no set game system, so you
hmm
can play Middle Earth strategy battle game. You can play Magic the Gathering. You can play a Lord of the Rings board game, and all wins are recorded for wins of good and evil for the club you represent. So if you're in a gaming club in Northern Ireland and uh, you want to get involved in this campaign, there's lots of events going on between now and December. I think each month it'll start the Fellowship, then the Two Towers, and then the Return of
Yeah,
the King. Middle Ulster are hosting lots of cool little narrative events up with them. And any wins you play in games, you can register for your club. So a really cool collaborative little event. And I think a lot of the newer players that have joined the Mid Ulster Middle Earth Strategy Battle game crew are interested in coming down and joining our scene. So it'll be good to expand and meet some new players.
yeah, it's always good to grow, and it's a really good way to do it. I had the full life size Andrew and stuff when we helped him out at QCon. So
The prizes are awesome for the.
unreal. He's got the Witch
There's lots of
King's like sword and stuff as well, I think, and Sting and
Gimli's helmet and
yeah,
stuff. I think is a yeah, really cool.
unreal, proper good stuff. I actually they were telling us where whoever they bought Sting off, had apparently like sharpened the blade, so I think they had to get it dulled because it was like a machete. It was fucked. Um,
Class.
but mad, yeah. So we have our buy buster. So the final list is Collie Docherty, King Collie, and the great Gareth Mansfield, bringer of hobbits. Um, again, two top lads. Interesting buy buster one because it's got a nice bit of lore here, and it actually looks like a pretty fun list. So,
Let you
that'll
take
be.
this one, Connor.
I can take this one. This is arguably longer than Chris's. I'm assuming Gareth wrote this.
The best part about this is so thanks so much for Collie and Gareth for stepping into Bybus. So this is the first event that I've ever TO'd. I only really got involved in this hobby like about a year and 3 or 4 months ago. So it's quite intimidating to have to organize the tournament and TO it, never mind having to buy bus and not having time to do all the TO things. So
Sure.
thanks so much to Collie for agreeing to buy bus, and then Gareth came in last minute, so I don't actually have to play, which is fantastic. And Gareth is bringing pure banter here with the hobbits, so everyone that ends up on bottom table is guaranteed to have an awesome time slaughtering 40 something hobbits.
It should be a good laugh. Like, I mean, I'm still one day we will get our Ent Hobbit Alliance on the table and it will be hilarious. I just love like a little rule where you could mount any Ent with like one Hobbit. I think it would be quite funny.
Yeah, it'd be cool.
Like a home rule.
I
So
really want to play my spider list against the hobbits
we're,
because I just think spiders versus hobbits would be hilarious.
we're gonna go forever as well. Um, yeah, it would be. So their lore, rather long, we'll get stuck in. Long before the founding of the Shire, the Harfoots crossed the Misty Mountains and settled in Eriador. I'm probably pronouncing these terribly. Whilst many continued journeying west into the lands of Bree and what would become the Shire, a small number chose to remain in the shadows of the mountain, still choosing to build their homes in the hillsides nearby and farm what they could. Even for a hobbit's natural green thumb, things weren't easy. But for the Turnbacks, Parkets, and a smattering of other hobbits from differing families, it was their stubborn nature that made them refuse to go further. Two of the families have been so reluctant to join the other Harfoots in the journey across the mountains that their true family names are lost to the insults and jibes that were thrown their way during the journey. Names born of their constant complaints or suggestions to end the migration, these being the aforementioned Turnbacks and Parkets, two families that would come to lead this little hobbit colony. It didn't take long for the dwarves in Khazad-dûm to notice the stout fellows that had now begun farming the land nearby, and given to the fact that farming was not exactly easy when you're surrounded by sheer rock, a trading party was sent off offering tools for farming, cutlery, and flatware for eating and drinking. And perhaps most importantly, some of the finest ale and roasted pork these hobbits had ever tasted. The food and drink was never meant to be on the table for trade. It was merely provisions for the dwarves. But once the hobbits got a whiff of what they could have, and once the dwarves got a few puffs of hobbit pipeweed, the trade agreements became so much simpler. The little hobbit township soon became known as a New Farthing, and thrived in the relationship with the kingdom of Khazad-dûm. During harsh winters, the hobbits would be welcomed into the kingdom to keep them safe, returning to their homes when the snows would thaw, aided by dwarves to prepare the farmland for the year ahead. This close alliance also often led to something almost unheard of in hobbit culture: meddling. When the dwarves would find themselves under threat from their enemies, it was hard to find a single hobbit in New Farthing that didn't pick up their farming or hunting tools and rush to join the fray, despite not being very well trained to do so. Their spirit was in the right place. Certain hobbits, such as Low Jewfoot, who took particular enjoyment throwing rocks at those who bothered him, and the farmer come shepherd Baldric Rumblebelly, known for training the town's hunting and herding dogs, were always quick to their feet and when a fight would break out. Baldric always making sure to bring his favourite mutts with him, a trio of uncertain breeding that with nasty dispositions known only as Groil, Grab, and Maul. When fighting alongside the dwarves, these bands of meddlers were more often than not led by Marco Turnborough and Rudigar Parkfoot. Far distant relations to the founders of New Farthing, though if you listen to them, you'd almost think that they were direct descendants. When Khazad-dûm was beset by Durin's Bane, almost the entire town of New Farthing sought to try and lend their aid to the dwarven friends. None would ever be seen or heard from again. So we have Gareth rocking in with the hobbits. I love how he's painted these. He's like done the bases all different colors, so it's like easy for you to tell what's what. So
It's
we
just
have
like 200 of them.
so many of them, and I love the names. Warband 1, Marco Turnborough. It's just Meriadoc, basically. It's 12 militia, 6 axe, 3 dagger, 3 hammer. Warband 2, Rudigar Parkfoot, which is basically just Pippin. 13 archers. Warband 3, Low Jewfoot, which is just Baldo Tulpenny. 8 militia, 4 axe, 2 daggers, and 2 hammers. Warband 4, Baldric Rumblebelly, who is Farmer Maggot, as you might have guessed, with the dogs. Groil, Grab, and Maul, of course, being Grip, Fang, and Wolf. 5 militia, 3 axes, 1 dagger, and a hammer. We have 350 points exactly in that one. 13 bows. It's 41, 41 warriors. Collie Doherty, Big King Collie, bringing in the Dwarf King. 2-handed axe, and he's the leader. He has 10 dwarf warriors with shields and 4 iron guard with him. And he's also got a ballista with an engineer captain and 2 dwarf crew. 16 warriors. The army total is 57. The only one to beat Luke's and Stevie's. That's cool.
Fantastic list. I'd have to say,
Standing.
1, you need a job in voice acting, and 2, Gareth, you get 5 out of 5 for writing this bit. Unfortunately, as you're by busting, you're not entered in the competition.
Oh man.
I think Gareth would have been all over this event, but he thought he was working, and it was only like a couple of days before he realized that he's not actually working, and we could only get him in as bybuster. So thanks again for stepping in, and even getting in the spirit. Like, even though you can't play for the prizes, like, love this list. Love to see hobbits on the table, and as I said, it's awesome fun removing hobbits by the handful when you're facing them. I faced this list. I faced these hobbits with my Dunland at the Irish Open there. At the Mike's event near Nith Amoidiad, and I didn't think I could break him by killing. I had to kill like 80 or 41 hobbits or something, and I managed to break him, and it was so much fun. Just every time you want to fight, like, swathes of hobbits were being removed. It was great. What was really scary though is I'd never faced like 20 hobbit archers before, and especially with my little
They're really
D3,
not bad. Like
they destroyed me on the march there. It really wasn't fun facing that. But other than that,
I can't believe he threw that together so quickly as well. Like, I'm so lazy going to chat AI bots, and I was all busy and everything, and he's fucking threw this together in like half a day.
I feel like there's some theater kid in there somewhere that was just waiting to jump on something like this.
100%.
So all the hobbits marched to Khazad-dûm and got smoked by the Balrog,
pretty much. Yeah. There's not a single list here that I don't like. They're all great. They're all fun. They're all themey. Connor's is really confusing, but I can't wait to see it. So it's gonna be good. It's gonna be really fun. So with the lists, that's all of our lists. We're gonna get into generating some pairs now. Do you want to do this first before we roll the scenario, or do you want to roll the scenario
I'm
first?
going to roll the scenario on the morning. I think we'll
Okay,
do that on the day.
fantastic.
Just so, as I said, we will not be taking the secrets one as the first game, just to stop people from colluding before the game.
Yeah,
Uh, so you don't know who you're going to be playing. But with we'll do the matchups today. We'll roll for a scenario on the morning, and hopefully tomorrow I will post a list of the possible army bonuses that are going to be in the draws for the start of each game.
unreal. So I kind of like getting the rule 4 in the morning. It's more fair. You don't want people thinking, it's all right getting it like it's only a couple of days before, but generally like it's best people find out before the game, and then you can't have this like whole moment of trying to figure. Yeah,
Strategizing,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So drum roll, please. Three, two, one. Okay. So we have Gareth and Collie are up against Niall and Sean. Luke and Stevie are up against David Feeney and Peter Fenton. Ben and Peter are up against Tim and Chris. We have Connor Kerr and Hamish up against myself and Calvin. We have, oh, that's like that, yes. We've got Chris Baird and Bill Taylor with Nick McElhatton and Christopher Cornell. Luke Wilkinson and Bradley Moore against Garroge and Ewan. What a matchup that's going to be. We have that. That's it because it's just doubled up because there's loads. That's our 7
Yeah.
matchups there. So that's unreal. I'm a big fan of that. I can't believe that Bradley, Luke, and Garroge and Ewan have been matched up first round. That's hilarious. It's going to be really funny. And then I'm going to obviously find out very, very quickly how Connor's mad list works. So that's going to be interesting. Yeah, so looking forward to this. We won theirs with good rules are just fun. As I said, there's not a single bad list in the bunch. We've got some nice prizes that people will be very happy to see. I'm sure once Nicky's got them, he's done some hard work on them. We've some
That
little glimpses. They look cool. They look really cool.
So yeah, I think there's over 300 quid of prizes up for grabs. So
For
some
one
pretty cool
day,
things.
that's
Lots of little
outstanding. So yeah,
well, I have to say we had like really, really good reception to players signing up. So thanks
mhm,
to everyone that signed up, and really looking forward to seeing everyone at the weekend. And
big
I
time.
hope everyone has some awesome games.
That's it. Well, I think we're all looking forward to it, Nicky. So thanks very much to yourself for taking the time to actually TO your first tournament, and I really hope it goes nice and smoothly for you. Um, yeah, like let's just roll on to it and get it going and see what we can do. I might try and get some footage of the day. I'll see what happens in the morning. I probably will grab a few wee bits to be honest. So yeah, that's it pretty much, guys. That's all of our lists. I hope everybody enjoyed it. Hope everyone enjoyed the lore. Big shout out to those that wrote it because some of those were absolutely fantastic. Um, and I really enjoyed reading them. So yeah, more of these, please. More of these, Nicky. More of these type of events would be
Hopefully in the future.
fantastic. Yeah. So thanks very much for joining us. We're going to let you go and yeah, take care.
Cheers, Connor.